I thought a good way to start off this channel might be with like a little bit of a introduction slash studio tour and give you a little bit of information about myself. My name is Jimmy and I'm a scientific illustrator. Primarily my main focus is in wildlife illustration, anatomy, and I also do a lot of paleo art. As you can see here, I have a lot of reference material. This is where I do most of my work, and I really enjoy. I feel like that's not even the right way to put it. I'm obsessed with learning about natural history and paleontology and animal anatomy and just anything to do with like the history of this planet and like all the incredible like gorgeous animals and stuff that live here now and that used to live here. That's been my main focus in my work for a really long time, at least like the work that I do on a commission basis. So in addition to showing you guys around a little bit today, I wanted to show you what I'm working on here. This is a study that I'm doing of a sculpture recently put out by Blue Rhino Studios. They're a really, really high quality, really incredible studio, and they put out a lot of really awesome paleo art, either through the form of murals and illustrations, but they're mostly well known for their sculptures. And this is a sculpture that they recently did of Sue the T-Rex. She's on display at the Chicago Field Museum. I started with a sepia tone ballpoint pen, and now what you see here is me going over it and adding some contrast and detail with black ballpoint pen. This isn't a commission or anything that I was paid to do. This is just something that I wanted to kind of put out and set aside a little time for myself just to work on something without the pressure of, satisfying a client. I think that is something that's really important as an artist and something that a lot of people, myself included, tend to neglect when you get lost in the shuffle of doing professional artwork for clients and companies is you kind of forget to always have a little bit of a side project going. And I think it's really important to always have something in the studio or at your desk or something, within your field of view that you're working on that isn't for anybody except you. And like I said, this video is really just like meant to serve as an introduction to, the type of work that I do and the type of work that I'm passionate about, that I really care about a lot. And I'm hoping that this serves as a good avenue also for maybe some self-exploration and, a good way for me to work through times where I'm lacking inspiration or feeling discouraged. And that's been something that, like a lot of artists, I've been struggling with a lot lately. I think that's especially something that professional artists struggle with because you get so wrapped up in paying a mortgage, feeding a family, all those things that go along with this being your work, that you really neglect the the emotional aspect of it. And that's something that I'll probably touch on in a later video because that's a lot to kind of dive into. And that said, I also plan and hope to make this a good platform to go to when you have those highs of excitement and inspiration, or a good place for me to share a lot of the really cool projects that come my way every now and then that I'm really lucky to get to work on. And I share those in pretty good detail with my Instagram following, and YouTube is very new to me, aside from obviously just enjoying other people's accounts. And I'm hoping I can find a nice balance of sharing that side of my work and my life with you guys here as well. I think as artists, it's really important to kind of, I guess you could say, open like an honest line of dialogue where we talk about things like what's it like to pour everything you've got into projects when you're totally drained, or what's it like to pull all-nighters after you've spent the whole day working and running errands and giving a baby a bath or taking the dogs to the vet or making dinner, all those like normal things people have to do, and then still having to kind of come and be creative or push through a lot of distractions or whatever the case is. There's a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, about how to draw, but there aren't really a lot of videos touching on like real struggles and obstacles that people who draw for a living encounter on the day to day. You know, there isn't a lot of people talking about how to stay inspired and how to push through times where you're lacking that, or how to deal with clients who don't pay or don't pay on time, and knowing when to quit, knowing when you've gotten too tired, and knowing what to do when you have to start over, which is pretty rough. But anyway, I really appreciate all of you stopping to check this out. And if you enjoy this sort of content, don't forget to like and subscribe.